Everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm doing a video. I just impromptu decided to do this because I saw that Blind Guardian were. This is the shirt I picked out to wear today. Got it actually in 2002 at Prague Power USA 2002 when Blind Guardian played their first U.S. appearance in America, which is fucking amazing, by the way. And I just saw on Facebook that Blind Guardian were selling a Battalions of Fear, like cool retro looking shirt. And then thinking about walking last summer, the virtual walking. I'm not gonna say about virtual events. Even though virtual things are better than the stupid quarantine shows. We're gonna all do it on our Zoom camera 5 miles away. I just something cringe about that stuff. But the virtual walk-in was kind of lame with the fake audience and stuff, but still, I mean, they probably could have gotten away with an outdoor event, and with protecting people and stuff. Anyway, I'm not gonna go into all that stuff because of the virus stuff, but because outdoors is actually, well, very controlled event. Whatever, I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, the walk-in Blind Guardian event was very much about like old, like Hansi was like, we're playing a lot of old speed metal songs. So I've gotten to thinking that maybe this next Blind Guardian album is not going to be like, I think they might have gotten some of their more orchestrated stuff out of their system, and I know how it sounds as far as people wanting them to go back to their kind of speed metal sound, but that would be awesome. I think, I really liked their speed metal era. I mean, the speed metal, maybe ostensibly not their speed metal era, but somewhere far beyond Imaginations from the Other Side, where it kind of had the orchestrated sound mixed in with that, which is my favorite era, by the way. But yeah, it'd be cool to see them go back to that if they decided to do that. I still think that my problem with modern Blind Guardian is not really necessarily even the compositions. It's more the production and the way that how synthetic a lot of their modern production sounds. Case in point, like the drum sound just sounds really stale. You listen to Imaginations from the Other Side, it's like, wow, it's heavy, You listen to some of the new stuff, it's like this computerized, quantized sounding stuff. Ever since basically Night at the Opera, but more so Twist and the Myth, they've just had this weird production. Computerized stuff is fine, industrial or synthwave or whatever, avant-garde techno, stuff I actually listen to. But with Blind Guardian, had this medieval feel. To have this medieval feel, but have it like sound all MIDI, just sounds, unless that's what they're trying to do. It doesn't seem like what they're trying to do. It sounds kind of off. And production, just Charlie Bauerfeind is not. I don't like his production as much as like Fleming Rasmussen or some of those other people that have worked on Blind Guardian albums, or Pete. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Seelig. Ever since he jumped ship and went, did Iron Savior full time, Blind Guardian suffered too. I dare say that he had something to do with their once immense sound. He probably did. I mean, those Iron Savior albums aren't always the best production either, but the first few, and even some of the more modern ones, just compared to Blind Guardian, I don't like the compositions as much, but like he knows how to get like a good sound, That's why actually the new Halloween may be okay, because Dennis Ward, I think he has a good head on his shoulders. I've watched a lot of his, I think it's produced by like a pro or some of his production stuff. He's working on the new Halloween, or he worked on the new Halloween with Charlie Bauerfeind. Charlie Bauerfeind he's like the Greg Fidelman of German metal nowadays. Like, Greg Fidelman is infamous for destroying, not Saint Anger, Death Magnetics production, Metallica. But I'm a producer geek, you know. If I worked with any producer, there's only two or three producers I work with. Well, to be quite honest, I'd probably work with Andy Sneap as well, even though he's sort of in that camp of like this modern, slick ass, sterile sounding thing, but he's a little bit more life than some of the other ones. But like Neil Kernon or Andy Wallace from back in the day, or Steve, it sounds weird, but Steve Albini I would work with. A power metal guy working with someone like that'd be kind of weird, but like I would work with him. I would only want to do analog, you know. He's only analog. He knows, you know, that this High on Fire album he did from the mid 2000s or early 2000s sounded insane. It was awesome, you know. So I would work with him over some fucking, or what's his name, Jens Bogren, maybe, you know. But I just don't like a lot of this modern production this has kind of gone off into a different realm entirely, of course, this video. But I don't like a lot of modern production. I think it sounds, it suffers from something that I can't quite put my finger on. You know, case in point, listen to like a modern death metal album or modern like grind album, and then listen to like Utopia Banished by Napalm Death. Tell me which one's heavier. You kind of feel, it's like this feeling. Listen to like I Have Stain, Napalm Death, like the riff. It's like it fucking moves your bone, it rattles your bones. You listen to these, like even like some like whatever, Be a Moth for example. It just doesn't have that kind of intensity, and I think it's probably the analog production plus, you know, just the way that they did stuff back then. Or Heartwork versus modern Carcass, like it comes close, but closer than a lot of other stuff that's copied Carcass's Heartwork production, but it doesn't really come close to the original. There's something about those early to mid 90s productions. It was the highest end of analog at the time. It was like, that was the end of analog in a lot of ways. But it was the highest technology got in analog. And it just sounded so fucking immense, better than, and you could tell the shit apart. That's the thing. Like, even Metallica, for all their flaws, which are many, of course, you know, you could tell Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice all sounded completely different as far as production. It's like there's a lot of bands that copied some of those albums' production later. You know, you hear like even early Iced Earth sounds a lot like Ride the Lightning's production, and then there's bands that ripped off the Justice production for better or worse. Of course, that was a weird production. That's a weird production to try to clone, but you know, like I think Scott Burns kind of had that muffled kind of sound with a lot of his early death metal. Really weird era for production, but at the same time, it's like it sounds different. You know, there's all sorts of bands that sounded a lot different than each other in production, even if there was some kind of groupthink amongst certain producers or certain things that sounded the same, it didn't all sound the same. I can't tell production apart nowadays. I'll hear an album by a band, and then I'll read the liner notes. It sounds exactly the same as the other band. It's stale as fuck. It used to be like everybody did something different, every band did something different, every producer did something different. Now it all sounds the same. I like the Beast in Black, Anton, I can't pronounce his last name. I think he produces all the Beast in Black stuff. It's almost like that guy, sterile and quantized as fuck, but it's like the guitar, like the leads sound really lively, and everything else, it almost has an 80s sheen to it to make it, just push it over the top. So that's about all.